I mentioned last night, didn't I? I was up in Canberra and I was pleased to be able to catch up with Angus Taylor at Parliament House as he sets about the task of rebuilding a broken and battered Liberal Party. And as he sets about reconnecting too with the electorate, he was very clear with me about the sort of discipline he wants to see back in the opposition and that clarity in policy and communication that I think has been absent for way too long. It's a wide-ranging interview, and let's start last Friday where all of this began.
The choice is simple for the Liberal Party: change or die, and I choose change.
There was two candidates, Susan Lee and Angus Taylor, and Angus Taylor was successful.
Exactly 2/3 of the party were in Angus Taylor there. What about that? He smashed her.
Angus Taylor, welcome.
Great to be with you, Peter.
Not even a week ago, you were in this party room, and I think surprised a lot of people by the nature of your win, the emphatic endorsement. How much was that about what you were offering, and how much was that, I guess, your colleagues coming to grips that if something didn't change, the party itself was at risk?
Well, Peter, I think my colleagues understand well that we're at the worst position the Liberal Party's been since it was founded in 1944. They understood that when I was talking to them, and they knew we needed a reset. We've got a bad Labor government, a rotten Labor government, that's taking our standard of living backwards, that hasn't protected our way of life. People feel threatened, understandably, by what's happening in our economy and more generally across our communities. And all the members of Parliament, the senators and members of the reps here feel that very keenly. So they want change. I think our members and supporters and those who have voted for the Liberal Party over time want to see a strong Liberal Party. And our job now is to restore their confidence in us at a time where we haven't done what we need to do to be a successful political party.
So a lot of this is also, isn't it, the Liberal Party admitting to your supporters, not just members, but to supporters, we've lost our way, we've got it wrong, and there's a bit of contrition needed there.
There absolutely is. I mean, we've clearly made mistakes over recent years. We made mistakes when we were in government and in opposition, and we've got to learn from those. We all make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and go forward from there. I think we have been too inclined to the politics of convenience, and we need to get back to the politics of conviction for core Liberal values, which I think are the core values of Australians.
Key is getting those supporters back, you know, whether they're just parking their vote elsewhere, predominantly, as we've seen with the shift in recent months, with One Nation, or whether they've left you for good. The last thing you want to do is demonise the One Nation supporter, because they, in many cases, are Conservatives. How do you get them back?
Well, I think the first thing is to recognise people have been drifting away from us for good reasons, because they're not seeing the Liberal Party that they know and believe in. And
yeah, they don't think they've been disloyal. A lot of them say the Liberal Party left me.
Correct.
Yeah.
They don't think they've been disloyal at all. So I think we've got to understand that. We've got to recognise that. And our job, as I say, is to bring them back by going back to those core values, the politics of conviction, making sure we are absolutely relentlessly focused on restoring Australia's standard of living, protecting Australians' way of life, recognising that this is the greatest nation on earth, but despite that, people feel right now that their life is tough and that people need a government that is going to do better. People are deeply concerned that they see politicians who no longer seem proud of this country, who want to talk down the incredible history of this country. It's a history with warts and all, but this is the greatest country on earth. And we need to start talking that way and making sure that the direction of the country is in line with our extraordinary history as a great nation.
The member for Hume was born with a silver foot in his mouth, Mr Speaker.
Labor will want to paint you as some sort of toff. They inevitably do that with Liberal leaders. You've had an experience, obviously, in business, a very successful career, but one of your big jobs was fixing businesses that had headed down the wrong way or were broken and you know, got them back in a positive balance sheet and back employing people. Is that the right sort of skill set, do you reckon, to not just fix the party but fix the country?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up on a farm south of Canberra, a couple of hours south of Canberra, family farm. It's a small business. The kitchen table is both the family and the business. That's how it works. And you know, we went through good times and tough times, as every small business does. Droughts, low commodity prices, that era where we were having to shoot sheep and all of that. And so I know how incredibly tough it is to make a go of a business, employ people, but we need people wanting to do that if we are going to have a country that can have rising living standards, that can pay for all the things that make our way of life possible. And I think that deep understanding of what makes an economy tick, but most importantly, what gives people opportunity and what can be the underpinning of aspiration, that is the key for me. That's what the Liberal Party's about. That's why I joined the Liberal Party. That's why I'm always excited about what the Liberal Party can deliver, but we have to get back to those roots.
One of the things that shocked me in this reports this week about the level of secrecy from the Albanese government. How do you restore, I guess, trust that people have in their institutions? I think partly that's why people are not voting for either of the major parties. They think the whole show's up. They think the whole place is crook. How do you fix that problem?
Well, the first thing you do is stop lying, which is what we're seeing from Albanese and Chalmers. I mean, they lie about the state of the economy. They try to tell Australians that it's all great. Well, it's not. You've got to be upfront with people about what the starting point is and where they're at. And that level of transparency is not what we're seeing from this government. But you see time and time again how they want to hide things from people. They don't trust Australians, that's clear. This ISIS brides issue, Peter, I mean, seriously, they're not explaining to us whether they've issued these people passports. They've not explained to us whether they're trying to keep them out of the country with temporary exclusion orders or through other means. They haven't been upfront with us about what kind of facilitation we're seeing from the government or government agencies. These are questions that are not being answered. Are third parties helping these people come back who are being supported by the Labor Party with close links to the Labor Party? Well, there's good signs that that's bad signs, that that's what's happening. This government needs to be upfront with the Australian people. If they're not protecting our way of life, then they need to be held to account. Stop hiding things. Be clear. Are we going to see this government keeping these people out because they do not share our core values? There's no doubt about that.
Well, there's no doubt about that. The Prime Minister says we're not repatriating them, but his language is tricky. There's no greater gift that a government can give someone overseas other than a valid Australian passport to return to this country. There's no embassy in Syria. Clearly there are Australian individuals in these camps with passports on them that have been provided to these women. Surely Australians, particularly after Bondi, are right to say, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, no, that is absolutely right. People who do not believe in our core values, who don't accept our core beliefs, should not be coming to this country. The door should be shut. People who want to bring the hate and violence from another part of the world onto our shores should see a shut door. We don't want them here. This government wants a bet each way on this. They need to fess up, get clear and explain to the Australian people what's going on here.